I'd like to now call upon Dr. Charlotte Frank, Senior Advisor of McGraw-Hill Education, who will be introducing Ernest Logan, who is the President of the Council of Supervisors and Administrators. Charlotte, at a time when there were very few women in math, excelled. She got degrees and she was in programs that no other women were in. She was also a member of the Board of Regents, and she has a PhD from NYU. So, Charlotte, would you like to come up and speak about Ernest Logan, who's a friend of ours, whom we know so well?
This event is important because it recognizes everybody's influence in the New York City public school system, the New York State Education Department, everything. This is truly, you look around this audience, these are the leaders, and we have people who are preparing future leaders. It is my good luck to be able to introduce Ernest Logan, Ernie, whom I have known for probably almost all the years that he's been in the system and just starting. Ernie worked for nearly 25 years in the New York City public schools, many of them as a CSA member, before taking a leave of absence to join CSA staff in 1997. He, during all that time and now, is still a teacher, is still a supervisor, caring about young people. He is determined to make a difference. He's said to me several times, I can't leave the CSA because I still want to make the changes. And he continues to do that. You have to love what you're doing. No matter what you have to love it, you have to care about it, and you have to keep working for it. Rising through the ranks, he was elected president in November 2006 by acclamation, and again in November 2009 and 2012, he began his third term as CSA's president on February 2013. There's nobody else who has done that for CSA. There's nobody else who has done that to enforce the responsibility that education has. Never think of him as just a leader of, the supervisors. Because some people say, what are they what have they got to do? Ernie feels that we all care about kids. And he wants to make certain that people who are in leadership roles provide that energy, that we care about kids and we're going to make life better. And everyone who has spoken has that same energy. It's very interesting. Ernie Logan, in one of the things as you read in this folder, this thing that you have, if you have time, take a look at it. That happens to be on page 10. But what he did is he also, when he went to work, he worked, and it talked about that he was he began teaching English in PS 224. He was then, and graduating from SUNY Cortland, and within 5 years, he was a curriculum writer for the Office of Curriculum and Development. For those of you who have a history in the Office of Curriculum and Development, it is what had become known as CS. That was what I headed. I headed the Office of Curriculum Development before I became a regent with this wonderful woman, before you even became a principal. I mean, there's the history of leadership in this room. And then he got a job working for curriculum development, and that was what I was. So we have stayed together because you want people working for you, not for you, with you, to make a change in education. You want people working with you who really care. You want people who are scholars. And it is really my wonderful opportunity, and I thank everybody. I thank you for allowing me to introduce Ernie Logan. Ernie Logan, who's the president of the CSA. You see?
She's still in charge.
And now you can see what he's going to continue to do.
Thank you, Charlotte. Great mentor, great colleague, great friend. She's right. I was a young English teacher, and I saw an ad that the DOE was looking for curriculum writers and to work after school, writing curriculum. And I applied. Didn't know a soul, and they asked me to come in for an interview, and they asked me to do a writing sample. So I said, and they put me in a room and said, do a writing sample, a lesson. So I wrote a writing sample and met Jane Garner, who was the assistant director at the time. And she said to me, you're pretty good. What have you been doing? I said, teaching English. She said, well, do you want to really come in here after work and be a curriculum writer? And I said, yes, I'd like to do something different to open up my experience and see what it's like outside of a classroom, outside of a school. And that's how I first met Charlotte, maybe about 2 or 3 years later. And we become friends, but more importantly, she's become a mentor, a confidant, someone I could go up to and talk about how important it is to do things about public education. And that's what this is about today. I've always said to people, public education is the great equalizer. Many of you have heard me talk about my life story. I'm not going to talk about it today. But I know that if it had not been for public education, the poor little kid on public assistance who grew up in the project of East New York would not be where I am standing today. And it is about giving back always for what it is that you've received. God has truly blessed me to be in the halls of in the White House, to be in the governor's mansion, to be in the mayor's office. But not about me, but about the children of this great country, this great state, and this great city. And I think Chancellor Tisch said it today, and Chancellor Farina said it today. Leadership is about making the tough decision to do what's right. My moral compass is always centered on what is best for children. And you know what is interesting? My members believe in that. If not, I would not have been elected 3 times unanimously. Why? Because they understand it's what they do for children that matters. Not about what we do for adults. We've made it already. It's about what we do about the future of this great country and how we continue to make this country greater than it is now. And that only happens when we educate the populace. You know, my heart is just heavy with the fact that racism in this country never seems to go away. We only want to talk about it. We sleep it under the rug. It's the R that nobody wants to talk about. It's the R that's in this room. It's the R that's in our school system. And we don't talk about it. Until we start to talk about it, we'll never be the great school system, the great country that we need to be. So I'm honored today to be honored with such distinguished colleagues today. But more importantly, I'm so honored to be honored with the educators who are down in the trenches doing this great work. You're going to meet some incredible school principals, Dino out of Aviation, George Young from Manhattan. You're going to hear about their stories and what they've done. Read them and go visit their schools. See what we're doing about public education. See how we're making a difference in the life of our children. And yes, I'm so honored and proud to work alongside a chancellor who's an educator, who gets this. And she understands like I do. It's not about us. It's about what's best for children. God bless you. Thank you.